Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So basically, whatever I wanted to say, Atif Sahab has beautifully summarized everything in the two of the modules that he had taken. So basically, I'll just start off with a summarized version of what I wanted to say. So when we talk about resources, can everyone hear me? It's basically the right resources at the right time with the right technology. This is basically a summary of the module on resources. So I will keep referring to that flip chart so none of us loses track. Slides कहाँ पे? Then let's just go to ISQM1 for a minute. So if I look at para 32, which is basically summarizing the key requirement with respect to resources. So it says the firms shall establish quality objectives that address appropriately obtaining, developing, using, maintaining, allocating, assigning resources in a timely manner to enable the design, implementation, and operation of the system of quality management. This is the basic requirement set out by the ISQM1. So ISQM1 basically deals with a few components. The first one is human resources. The next one is technological resources, then intellectual resources, and service providers. So what we can do is we can just start going through them one by one. And if you want to stop me in the middle, you can ask any questions. So uh, let's just talk about human resources first. So the first one is hiring. Hiring the right people at the right time who have the right competence, knowledge, capability, and then are able to perform quality engagements and are able to perform quality engagements, and they have relevant knowledge and experience to do so. And then perform activities, carry out responsibilities with regards to operation of the firm's system of quality management. So basically what it talks about is that you need to hire the right resources who enhance the function of quality management in the organization. So now the next question obviously comes to mind, how do we ensure that? So in order to ensure that, we need to have the right policies in place. So the first thing would be your resource policy statement. What has the firm come up with regards to a hiring policy? अब इसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या आती है कि अगर हम साइज की बात करें या स्केलेबिलिटी की बात करें, तो जो छोटी फर्म्स हैं उनके लिए एक डेडिकेटेड ह्यूमन रिसोर्स मैनेजर रखना पॉसिबल नहीं होता. So इस फंक्शन को स्ट्रीमलाइन करने के लिए what firms can do is that one of the partners can be assigned an additional charge of human resource. You can have a human resource partner or a resource management partner. He can actually perform this task, and the firm should come up with a resource policy statement. The policy statements, at the end of the presentation, we will share a document with you which have all the sample policy statements, and they can be tailored as per your firm requirements. So the resource policy statement is critical. Candidate interview and evaluation checklist. So this basically, a lot of firms, as far as I know, as far as I've come across, they have a interview and evaluation checklist for resources that they hire, for example, trainee students or at managerial level. The same should be made for recruitment at partner level as well. And then there should be a staff orientation checklist. You need to familiarize your potential staff members with the requirements of the firm, particularly with regards to quality assurance. And the fourth one is very important. It's training and development record. सो काफी हद तक तो ICAP इसमें हमें फैसिलिटेट करता है कि ICAP जो है वो आपका CPD रिकॉर्ड आप वहां पे ऑनलाइन मेंटेन कर सकते हैं, आप उसको अपडेट कर सकते हैं. यू कैन यूज दैट एज अ गाइडलाइन. But what about the resources? What about unqualified resources who are part of your audit team? They have to be trained as well. They should also have those skills. So उनके लिए भी आपको ट्रेनिंग लॉग मेंटेन करना चाहिए. उसके अलावा what's essential is your job descriptions. That's very important. एक्सपेक्टेशन गैप हमेशा वहां पे होगा जहां पे एक्यूरेट जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन नहीं दी गई होगी. हमें प्रॉब्लम क्या आती है फर्म्स में प्रैक्टिकली? आप एक मैनेजर से पूछते हैं भी तुमने ये चीज देखी, ये चीज देखा, ये एस्पेक्ट देखा, ये एस्पेक्ट नहीं देखा, वो आपको कहेगा कि सॉरी दिस इज नॉट पार्ट ऑफ माय जॉब. दिस इज अ कॉमन आंसर वी गेट एट टाइम्स. So the job description has to be accurately drafted, reviewed by those who are in charge of quality management at the firm, and then it should be implemented at the firm-wide level. A lot of us are actually giving out multiple services under one roof and under one partner also. So for example, if I'm an audit partner, I'm also doing tax work for some clients, I'm also doing risk advisory for other clients. So I need to define my roles in each capacity. I should, and for my teams as well. And then we should have a professional staff performance review. This should be done at least annually to make sure that the staff knows that they are monitored, evaluated, appraised, and remunerated and compensated accordingly. So basically, now if you move on to the, I think this is working now. Right. So this part I've covered. Hiring part also I've covered. Now the next one is personnel demonstrate a commitment to quality through their actions. As you all know, actions speak louder than words. So your resources should be able to demonstrate their knowledge through their actions. What are the risks? As Atif Saab correctly pointed out, risk is opposite of the objective. So what if they are unable to do so? What if they are not trained to do so? What if they are not even aware of what they are required to do so? So basically, you need to set out certain policies, and these should be communicated effectively to all your resources. In this case, I would also refer to the engagement review form because there's a continuous overlap of things with engagement performance. So engagement performance में भी हमने बात की कि they should be able to possess the right resources, training, competence to be able to deliver. And even here जो main आपका document है ना, वो आपकी job description है और आपके performance reviews हैं. Moving on to the next one. Sometimes you don't have in-house resources. As we discussed, there are various limitations that firm might have, whether it's in terms of cost or, for example, if you have one specialized industry, and for that it is not sometimes feasible to develop a whole team, or you feel that this is just one client you have for a short period of time, or it's a one-off engagement or an assignment. So in that case, you would be hiring resources externally as well. Now, the key challenge here is that how you will find the right resources, how you will train them, how you will bring them at par with your requirements. And then the risks are still there. कि जो resources आपने hire किए हैं, are they aware of their job, what they are required to do? Do they have the relevant qualification or the competence? So इस case में we will be relying on using the work of experts. For example, अगर हम one-off assignments कर रहे हैं या हम कोई इंडस्ट्री स्पेशलिस्ट को किसी एंगेजमेंट में हायर करते हैं. रिसोर्सेज पॉलिसी स्टेटमेंट, that's very important. That is the basis of this module. And then new service provider request form. What is the criteria that we have set to hire people from external sources? So this would be under the new service provider form. And then new staff orientation checklist, as I mentioned earlier, that when you're hiring the resources, you need to, you have to give them orientation of your firm and of your requirements. So And then engagement team members are assigned to each engagement, including engagement partner who have appropriate competence and capabilities. We've discussed the competence and capabilities part, but what I'm trying to say is that this module does not deal with the team members only. It deals with everyone in the firm from top to bottom. So even if you're hiring administrative staff, you have to set their job description and define their roles clearly. So what are the risks? There's a possibility that even the engagement partner assigned is not aware of the assignment. He is not trained appropriately to cater to cater to this client. So you need to train them, you need to bring them at par with the requirements of the assignment. So इसके अंदर बेसिकली आपकी गवर्नेंस एंड लीडरशिप पॉलिसी इन्वॉल्व हो जाती है कि एट द टॉप व्हाट इज द टोन एट द टॉप. Engagement performance review policy statement, as discussed earlier, work control, job descriptions, professional staff performance review, training and development record, engagement performance policy statement, and work control form. All these documentation we have them available as a sample. You can take them from us and you can tailor them with regards to requirements at your firm. So, this I've already covered. Now we move on to technological resources. So as we were discussing earlier as well, that you would have technology requirements, be it in terms of maintaining databases, could be your client data, your client records, your attendance management systems, your audit software for that matter, the most important one. So what are your requirements? What are you looking for in an audit software? This has to be decided. If you're going to procure a software, what are your requirements? What is the cost involved? What is your budget? How it meets your requirement? In this case, there's an inherent risk that you may not be able to find the right technology or you may not be able to find the right software. So in order to find the right software, you need to define your requirements, you need to document what you need, and then search for the right vendor. In this case, we would obviously revert back to the resources policy statement, and we will look into a technology acquisition request form. So when you look at the form, which is available, which in fact has been emailed to all the participants, so उसके अंदर I can later on I can refer you as well, कौन वाले हैं उसके अंदर. So उसके अंदर basically there's a detailed document on identifying your requirements and how to go about it. Then moving on to intellectual resources, again, we will rely on our resources policy statement and then professional staff performance review, resources policy statement here as well. Then for service providers, we need to define that wherever we revert to an external service provider, what will be the criteria? What will be our requirement, how that requirement will be fulfilled, and then how to remove the expectation gap between your requirements and the requirements of the service provider. So yeah, this covers the resources module. If anyone has any questions? Should I move on? So इसमें बेसिकली जो इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है वो इसके सारे फॉर्म्स हैं that the firms need to have. You can take those forms, you can edit them as per your requirements. Next set जो है, there were two presentations. This is the first one. Will it work? There's just one. चलिए ना, नहीं हो रहा. अभी वाली खत्म हो गई है ना, अब नेक्स्ट वाली पे जाना है. करते हैं फिर सर. Right. So the next one is information and communication. This was also touched upon earlier by Atif Saab as well as Amin Saab. So इसके अंदर basically para 33 of ISQM1 की requirement है कि the firm shall establish the following quality objectives that address obtaining, generating, or using information regarding the system of quality management and communicating information within the firm and to external parties on a timely basis to enable the design, implementation, and operation of the system of quality management. So the first one is the information system identifies, captures, processes, maintains relevant and reliable information. This one pertains to the management of information system within the firm. What could go wrong? Appropriate resources are invested, but you're not able to utilize it to its full potential. Information systems are not reviewed regularly, they're not upgraded, they're not updated. For example, your client database is not up to date, you have missed out certain clients. There's a practical problem. इंटरेस्टिंगली अभी अगर आप लोगों ने देखी हो एओबी ने कुछ नोटिसेस रिसेंटली जो इशू किए विद रिगार्ड्स टू रोटेशन ऑन सर्टेन ऑडिट क्लाइंट्स कि 5 साल पूरे हो गए आपने रोटेट नहीं किया सो एज इट टर्न्स आउट सम ऑफ द फर्म्स they were not maintaining a register appropriately so that means your information system was not updated so because of that there is a possibility कि आपसे मिस हो गया हो it's purely inadvertent, but it can happen. उसके अलावा जो है information systems are not tested for data security. Nowadays it's very common. Data breach has become a norm now. A lot of companies, अभी 3-4 days ago, I read a notice on PSX, Diwan Farooq Motors, उनका भी डेटा चोरी हुआ है इससे कुछ अर्सा पहले पार्क सुजुकी का हुआ था डेटा was on the dark web apparently. So this is very important that when you have internet connectivity or if you are offering anything that is on the cloud or online, you need to have a secure data. And for that, you need to have a policy on that. What will be the security applied to the database? How will you maintain confidentiality, set passwords, change passwords regularly, restrict access, etc. And then in order to obtain the right database, you need to have a technology acquisition request form, which was discussed in the earlier module as well. The culture of the firm recognizes, reinforces responsibility to exchange information with the firm and with one another. So this is quite important. When you say you're drawing Chinese walls within the firm or you're trying to maintain client confidentiality, it's very important to set the tone at the top. You need to train your staff, you need to tell your staff, you need to document it, get it signed from them that this is going to be our data policy with regards to sharing of information. Interesting enough, with the stock market going up, everybody seems to be quite interested in buying shares these days. So, for us, it's like a red flag. We should keep a close eye on our staff members, what they are doing, and find out if they have privileged information. You don't want to get into trouble later on by finding out that one of your staff members or a manager has benefited from this privileged information. So we need to set the tone at the top. We need to define, we need to even make it clear if we are imposing any penalties or if there are any disciplinary actions that we can take against the staff. Then the next one would be that relevant information is exchanged throughout the firm and engagement team, which would include time extent of the information sufficient to enable them to understand, carry out responsibilities with regards to quality management, and personnel and engagement team communicate information to the firm when performing activities within the system of quality management or engagements. The next one would be communicating information to external parties. This is two parts. The first one we discussed earlier was something like a transparency report. So basically, that is telling your clients on your system of quality management and how it's transparent. The next one would be replying to regulators. This is actually interesting enough. Over the lunch break, I was discussing with Atif Saab as well, that a lot of regulators now tend to question the auditors directly as compared to questioning the company. So how is that communication to be addressed? What information is to be given? This has to be decided at the top and then communicated to your team members. That's it. Thank you. Any questions on this? इससे जो pertaining forms हैं, they are also available in the document which has been emailed to you, and I'll leave my email address and phone number. If anyone has any questions on these two modules, I'll be available to answer.
स्टाफ मेंबर कैसे हेल्प कर सकते हैं डेट्स में शेयर साथ
Sorry, किस चीज में?
स्टाफ मेंबर्स में बेनिफिट एवरीबॉडी to giving the information to the staff.
जी जी.
How they can so it is a daily business. Audit is done once a year. How they can benefit the purchaser of the shares in stock market.
ईपीएस पहले बता सकते हैं ना जी. आपका ऑडिट हो रहा है लेट्स से जुलाई में या अगस्त में, जून आपका क्लोज हो गया है और आपके रिजल्ट्स डिक्लेयर होंगे अक्टूबर के फर्स्ट वीक में. तो अगर कोई स्टाफ मेंबर को पता है कंपनी की प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी कितनी है या कंपनी में कोई लॉसेज आ गई हैं जो अभी पब्लिक इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं बनी, तो वो किसी को भी इंफॉर्मेशन दे सकते हैं, या अगर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी है तो वो खुद भी शेयर्स खरीद सकते हैं. जब आपकी ईपीएस आती है तो ऑटोमेटिकली शेयर प्राइस में रिफ्लेक्ट करती है. जी जी, बिफोर द फाइनलाइजेशन ना. देखिए, आप अगर टाइमलाइन की बात करते हैं तो रिजल्ट्स आपके ऑफिशियली डिक्लेयर होते हैं बोर्ड मीटिंग वाले दिन पे, विच इज बेसिकली से 6th और 7th ऑफ अक्टूबर. आपने ऑडिट किया होता है अगस्त या सितंबर में, तो आपकी टीम के पास ये प्रिविलेज्ड इंफॉर्मेशन होती है इन द मंथ ऑफ अगस्त और सितंबर के आगे कंपनी ने क्या रिजल्ट डिक्लेयर करना है. जिसने भी P&L बनाया उसको ईपीएस पता. जी जी, पीरियड एंडेड जून. अगर दिसंबर की बात करें तो यही चीज आगे मार्च में चली जाएगी. तो बेसिकली एक प्रिविलेज्ड इंफॉर्मेशन होती है ऑन द कंपनीज रिजल्ट्स. तो इस चीज को यू हैव टू कम्युनिकेट इट टू देम टू रिफ्रेन फ्रॉम सच प्रैक्टिसेस, और इन केस एनीबडी इज फाउंड एंगेजिंग इन शेयरिंग दिस सेंसिटिव इंफॉर्मेशन तो उसके खिलाफ क्या आप लोग एक्शन लेंगे. दिस हैज टू बी डॉक्यूमेंटेड एंड मेड इट क्लियर टू योर रिसोर्सेस.
When you declare the stock exchange is based on the results.
Somewhat, usually EPS जो है is a key determinant of increase. एक तो sentiments and obviously market की flow अलग है, लेकिन जो main चीज है वो तो आपका EPS ही होता है जिससे आगे का पता चलता है. Any other question? Thank you.
I would like to elaborate more. There is a lot of market clearing. So there is other kind of information which stocks go impacted the other name areas. Like there is a potential acquisition opportunity. किसी तरह merger करके तो auditors को शायद वांटे
Before it becomes public, absolutely right. और भी कई forms of privileged information होती है. और कई दफा नॉन एडजस्टिंग सब्सिक्वेंट इवेंट भी होता है जो कि आप बाद में डिस्क्लोज करके रिजल्ट्स में दे रहे होते हैं, बट उसका इम्पैक्ट मटेरियल भी हो सकता है इन द फ्यूचर. डेफिनेटली, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, जो भी लीगल एक्शंस के बनते हैं बिल्कुल. जी जी,
एक दिन हड़ताल होती है, 2 दिन स्टॉक बैठ जाता है, एक दिन अच्छी खबर आ जाती है.
ये सब वो तो सेंटिमेंट्स बेस्ड मार्केट है ना, लेकिन इसमें कुछ चीजें जो आपके फंडामेंटल्स के ऊपर चल रही होती हैं या जो आपकी रिसर्च या एनालिसिस के ऊपर चल रही होती है ना, वो तो बेसिकली आपके जो आपकी चीजें फंडामेंटल्स पे चल रही होती है ना, वो तो अपनी जगह होती है. अगर आपने अच्छे रिजल्ट्स डिक्लेयर किए हैं तो नेचुरली आपकी शेयर प्राइस में रिफ्लेक्ट करेंगे. लेकिन अगर आपकी बात सही अगले दिन हड़ताल होगी तो यस, उसका इम्पैक्ट जरूर आएगा. नीचे आ जाएगा, कल कोई और अच्छी खबर आएगी तो ऊपर चला जाएगा ना. उस एस्पेक्ट से मैं बात कर रहा हूँ. नाम साहब आपका भी
और इंफॉर्मेशन एंड कम्युनिकेशन जो है, इसमें क्या क्रिटिकल रिस्क है आप स्टार्ट के सिनेरियो में देखते हैं?
Hiring the wrong people who are not trained, who are not competent, who are unable to understand the quality objectives. So इसमें basically जो main problem है ना, वो ये है कि आपने resources for the sake of खाना पूरी आपने numbers पूरे कर लिए, but your staff is not appropriately trained to perform the assignments that they are engaged for. This is the critical risk. इस चीज को एड्रेस करने के लिए you need to have an accurate job description and an annual monitoring system for your staff. Performance appraisal is very important. So अगर आप देखें ये सारी चीजें एक बेसिक लेवल के ऊपर हम ISQC 1 में भी कवर कर रहे थे. एक्सटर्नल कम्युनिकेशन उसमें इस तरह कवर नहीं हो रहा था, लेकिन ये जो स्टाफ इवैल्यूएशन और परफॉर्मेंस इवैल्यूएशन सारा ये चीज हम ISQC 1 में भी थी मौजूद. This is just an extension based on the risks that you foresee within your firm. Any other question? जी जी.
क्या small and medium practices के लिए कोई shorter version है or is it the same for all of them?
साहब इसमें बेसिकली डिफरेंस क्या है कि जो ISQM 1 है ना, वो हार्ड एंड फास्ट रूल नहीं आपको देता, वो आपको एक रिस्क बेस्ड अप्रोच देता है कि आपने अपनी फर्म के रिस्क आइडेंटिफाई करके उसको किस तरह मिटिगेट करना है और उससे पर्टेनिंग क्या डॉक्यूमेंटेशन करनी है. एज आई मेंशन्ड अर्लियर कि अगर सोल प्रोप्राइटर है उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स नेचुरली कम होंगी. एक स्मॉल टू मीडियम साइज फर्म है, they probably do not have enough resources to have a dedicated human resource manager or something. So one of the partners or senior managers would be taking that role also. But whether the function is being performed effectively, that is the question. Are there any policies that exist? That is the question. What is the policy, whether it is being implemented or not? अगर let's say एक पार्टनर है और एक ट्रेनी है, I'm not saying कि कोई PIC का ऑडिट कर रहे हैं या कुछ, कोई वैसे कोई एश्योरेंस एंगेजमेंट कर रहे हैं या कोई छोटा ऑडिट कर रहे हैं, तो ऑब्वियसली ISQM 1 एप्लीकेबल तो उसके ऊपर भी होगा, नॉन PIC वाले के ऊपर. लेकिन क्या उसके ऊपर ये सारी HR की रिक्वायरमेंट्स एप्लीकेबल होंगी? वो नहीं होंगी. टीयर्स वाली नहीं होगी, लेकिन जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन बिल्कुल एप्लीकेबल होगी. इवैल्यूएशन ऑफ द कैंडिडेट बिल्कुल एप्लीकेबल होगी. एनुअल अप्रेजल रिव्यू सारा वो सारा कुछ होगा, बिकॉज वहां पे लेकिन जो एडिशनल आपके लेवल्स हैं वो आपके खत्म हो जाएंगे. सो एवरीथिंग इज एप्लीकेबल ऑन द स्मॉलर साइज फर्म. बट जिस तरह बात की आतिफ साहब ने भी, अमीन साहब ने भी, कि स्केलेबिलिटी आपने देखनी है. सो ये बेसिकली अब इसमें हुआ क्या है कि ISQM इज मोर जजमेंटल. सो अभी जिस तरह अब जब हम ऑपोजिट साइड ऑफ द टेबल बैठते हैं तो हमारा एक्सपेक्टेशन गैप इसमें रहेगा कुछ देर. इट इज इनएविटेबल. बट ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम जब हम स्केलेबिलिटी को एक्सेप्ट करके अडॉप्ट कर लेंगे तो फिर ये एक्सपेक्टेशन गैप भी खत्म हो जाएगा. ISQC 1 में ये था कि वो एक चीज डिफाइन हुई थी, ये करना है, ये नहीं करना है, करना है. यहाँ पे आपने फर्म को ये पावर दी कि फर्म अपना रिस्क आइडेंटिफाई करे इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ दीज मॉड्यूल्स और फिर उसको किस तरह मिटिगेट कर रहे हैं और उससे पर्टेनिंग क्या डॉक्यूमेंट कर. अगर फर्म ने एक रिस्क आइडेंटिफाई किया है तो उसकी डॉक्यूमेंटेशन भी उसके पास होनी चाहिए. दैट इज द गोल्डन रूल है.